Hey everybody, it's your old buddy Keith. On here, welcome to Blue Monday, where we ask the question, got blues? And if you don't, why the hell not? Anyway, today, I'm going to try not to be insulting, and I'm going to go out on one of my other rants that just really irritate me. And you know, you're welcome to your opinion, as long as it's the same as mine. And I used to be in the business, and I used to get these questions all the time, and I thought it was kind of silly, and I told people it was silly, and some people got the same attitude I did, you know, real smarmy and smart-assy. But anyway, you know, I've kind of thrived on that my whole life. So, but I'm seeing it a lot on the internet now. What can I do to play jazz on whatever? Telecaster. What can I do to my Telecaster to play jazz? Well, if you want to play jazz, it's on you. Play jazz. If you have a Telecaster, play jazz on a Telecaster. It's just that simple, folks. And it just, you know, playing this Epiphone Emperor, this is a beautiful thing. Check this out. Oh, yeah, flame on, Garth. Anyway, this is a jazz guitar. Well, is it? And I see people, you know, they got a 335. Well, you know, that's a blues guitar. Well, okay, you can play blues on it. If you're a blues player, play blues. Play them blues. That's what everybody should be doing, playing the blues. But, you know, you want to play jazz, you get something like this, or Joe Pass model, or an L5, L7, you know, something with an L in the front, OL. But I'll just tell you, the main difference in the guitars is the main difference in music is it's what you want to play. You say, oh, that's a hollow body. You can't play metal on that. You can't play the... Ever heard of Ted Nugent? I think he kind of made a career out of that on his Birdland, you know. The main difference in a Fender type and a Gibson type are the neck, right? Les Paul, Gibson. Same with the Epiphone. Set neck. With a Fender, you have a bolt on. Now pickups, and this is a perfect example, but you can put whatever pickups you want in these guitars. You can put in a Telecaster, you can put rail humbuckers. You can even route it out and put a regular humbucker in. I hear tell some of them, their new ones, even come that way. This was a big deal back in the 70s when this was done. But, you know, this could have humbuckers. This could have split coils. This could have P90s. It doesn't matter. You can play country. You can play jazz. You ever heard of Clint Strong? Perfect combination of both on Les Paul. You know, you can play Thin Lizzy. You can play Merle Haggard. Doesn't matter. That's on you. And this is another good example. This has got these, I forget what they're called, but it's a P90 and a single coil. And it's got little switches here, little mini toggles, and you could set them to be a humbucker in series, humbucker parallel, the little guy, you know, single coil, a P90 single coil. You can do whatever you want. You can make a combination of, you know, have a single coil here, a P90 here, which, you know, single coil. But what I'm saying, you know, a Fender type. And just play music, play whatever you want. If you want flat wounds put in on, you got a Telecaster, you don't have to buy one of these. You should, but everybody should have a hollow body, a semi-hollow body, a Les Paul Telecaster Strat, any variation thereof. Ibanez makes some really nice ones, and they're, you know, they're reasonably priced. Now, my brother-in-law, Mike, was playing what's called an AS-73. They're like $300 guitars. Now, he changed out the pots and switches and stuff, and quite possibly changed out the pickups. But, you know, for $300, $350, you've got just a killer semi-hollow body that'll do anything you want. And, some of the Epiphones are just wonderful. They're Les Pauls. Tell you, a few years ago, my wife called me and she said, there's a pawn shop going out of business. Now, you'd have to know my wife, but I'm thinking, oh Lord, she bought a pawn shop. But basically what she did is she bought out 30-some guitars that the pawn shop had. So we were selling them out, sold an Epiphone hollow body, what was it, 65 bass, had the snap-on pad on the back in the original case. We sold it for, I forget how many thousands overseas. Now, this was 20 years ago, so that's a lot of money. And we paid $200 for it because the bridge was off in the case, the strings were off in the case, and it took me 4 minutes to put it together. And we had to have the guy pay $800 in shipping and VAT, tax, whatever. A guy in Italy bought it. Anyway, there was a Les Paul there, and it was I forget what they call it, iced tea or something, and it was a pretty thing. And it played pretty well, but I've had a Dean since 1978, and to me that was as rock and roll as you're going to get. And for a Gibson type. And at the time, Norlin was not making, they were okay. I had a couple Les Pauls, but I just played my Strat. When I got the Dean, I played it quite a bit. The one thing I never liked about the Deans were when you play both pickups like this, they were tapped, but they were out of phase, and it just sounded like a Telecaster fixing to go out. But anyway, on the neck or the bridge, it was just pure rock and roll. There, I'm saying it, see? But you clean it up, and I played it on country jobs, played Stardust 9 to 4. A nice guitar, great guitar. And he's still building some really nice ones now that he, I guess he sold that company to Sears or something where you could buy them for $100 in the catalog. But now he's making the Dean Zelinskis, and they're extremely nice, and they're still pretty affordable. Now, back then they were, I think the Z and the V were $1,200, and the one I bought was $900. Of course, I bought it through Mike. I paid $5. It's still worth about $5. Nobody seems to like Deans, but except people who like Deans, but they still won't pay much for them. So, anyway, I'm sure I'm drifting from where I want to go, but you can play anything you want on any type of instrument. Just do it. It's you. And like I was going to say, now that I remember where I was going, she bought out all these guitars at the pawn shop, and one, that Les Paul, and it was nice, but I wound up selling it. And I said to her, you've known me since I was 16. How many times have you seen me play a Les Paul? Well, she never had. Of course, if she had, she wouldn't have noticed. But anyway, so there was an Epiphone Les Paul that I wound up playing, and I thought, man, I'd really like to keep this. And she said, well, I gave you, the Gibson. I said, yeah, but I sold it. I'd like to. She said, no, that's mine. I'm going to sell it. So we sold it, and but I liked it as well or better than the Gibson at the time. And that is not the case with this Gold Top. This is as fine a machine as ever created. And if you want to play metal on a Telecaster, go for it. If you want to play jazz on a Telecaster, do it. It's not a country guitar. I know Keith Richards thinks he plays country sometimes, but anyway, Strat, rock and roll, country, jazz, new age, classical, whatever you want to play. The guitar doesn't matter. What matters is you, your ability, your taste, And one guy put it, I'm trying to get the sound in my head. And once you know what that sound is, then it's a matter of type of strings, type pickups, amp settings. Twist those knobs. They're on there for a reason. And you'll get the sound in your head, even if it's just voices, calling from downstairs to come take out the trash. You'll get there. So anyway, as always, camera adds 100 pounds. Good talking to you, talking at you. However, talk to you later. Bye-bye.